Roth IRAs. We know them, we love them. Who can argue with tax-free growth and tax-free withdrawals for the rest of your life? Of course, the problem is getting your money in there in the first place. If you're above the Roth IRA contribution income limit, you won't be able to make an annual contribution. However, there's still another option on the table, the Backdoor Roth IRA contribution. This is where you make an annual non-deductible traditional IRA contribution up to $6,000 in 2022 plus another $1,000 if you're 50 or older, and then subsequently convert that amount to your Roth IRA. The Backdoor Roth IRA contribution has been a solid retirement planning tactic for years now. However, when dealing with taxes, there are always rules that could come back to bite you. Backdoor Roth IRA contributions are no exception. Today, I'm going to discuss 2 rules for backdoor Roth IRA contributions and how to avoid making mistakes that can cost you thousands. And be sure to stay until the very end where I share a key component to this strategy that many people, even CPAs, forget. Internal Revenue Code Section 408D2 requires taxpayers to aggregate their IRAs for tax purposes. What does that mean in English? Well, if you have multiple IRA accounts, the IRS considers all of those separate IRAs as one account for tax purposes. To be clear, different types and different titled IRA accounts aren't aggregated. So you wouldn't include your spouse's IRA, your Roth IRA, or an inherited IRA with your traditional IRA accounts for aggregation purposes. However, you do have to include SEP IRAs and simple IRAs in the total. How does this aggregation complicate a backdoor Roth contribution? One word: deductibility. Let's say, years ago, you rolled an old employer 401k into an IRA, and now those assets are worth $94,000. In your excitement to begin annual backdoor Roth IRA contributions, you've also funded a new and separate traditional IRA account with $6,000 in non-deductible contributions. Because of the account aggregation rule, the IRS considers your 2 IRAs as one account for tax purposes totaling $100,000, $6,000 of that being non-deductible contributions. So what happens when you try to make a Roth IRA conversion on the $6,000 in your second IRA? Unfortunately, part of it is subject to income tax. Because the accounts are aggregated, only the pro rata share of non-deductible IRA assets would be considered a tax-free Roth conversion. In this case, only 6% of the conversion would be tax-free. So instead of a properly executed backdoor Roth IRA conversion, only $360 would be converted without taxes. You'd owe ordinary income taxes on the remaining $5,640. That's not the result we're looking for. So how do you avoid this mistake? Well, simply knowing about the IRA account aggregation rule helps. If you have multiple IRAs, annual backdoor Roth IRA contributions may not be a tactic that's available for you. However, if you have IRA assets and a decent employer retirement plan, you might have an option. You may want to consider rolling your IRA into your active 401k plan if it accepts roll-in contributions. 401ks have different rules and are not included in IRA account aggregation. Strangely, after-tax non-deductible IRA assets are not allowed to be rolled into an employer retirement plan under Section 408D3A2. So the IRA account aggregation rules don't apply in that case. Who knew that there'd be an inconsistency in the tax law, right? Once you've moved your IRA into your 401k, the backdoor Roth IRA contribution strategy is back on the menu. However, there's another rule that could come up to bite you. The step transaction rule essentially treats a series of discrete steps as a single transaction if, taken together, the steps are intended to produce a particular result. Because a backdoor Roth IRA contribution has multiple steps focused on a particular result, it could potentially be considered a step transaction and disallowed by the IRS. If you're considering funding your Roth IRA in this manner, there are some best practices that you should follow. First, allow time to pass between each step in the process. You could always buy your target investments with the non-deductible IRA contributions and convert them in kind later. Independently, each of these steps is permissible, so the goal is to establish that each step really is separate. Unfortunately, there are no rules on how long to wait between transactions. Somewhere between a month and a year should work, depending on how conservative you want to be with this strategy. Some tax experts stand by the one statement rule. If you wait at least long enough to get a new monthly statement from your account, you'll be okay. In addition, if you invest the funds between steps, there's a small chance that you'll create a small tax liability when you convert. For instance, if your $6,000 grows to $6,500, the $500 in gains will be taxable when you convert. A little growth isn't bad, and it could also be used to prove that it wasn't a step transaction. Next, do not keep notes about using backdoor Roth IRA contributions or discuss it in written communication with your financial advisor or CPA. This kind of communication is discoverable and could potentially be used against you in tax court. If you're planning to make a backdoor Roth IRA contribution this year, be sure to get your professionals involved early. If you wait until late December, you may not be able to get it done in time. The big account custodians and brokerage houses have started closing the window on year-end transactions earlier and earlier over the last few years. Finally, there's one more mistake to avoid when making backdoor Roth IRA contributions: forgetting to file Form 8606. Form 8606 specifies that your initial traditional IRA contribution was indeed non-deductible, and therefore your subsequent Roth IRA conversion was non-taxable. Where I see this issue come up the most is when someone does all this work themselves and then forgets to tell their CPA about the non-deductible contribution. It's an easy one to forget. If you're interested in more retirement planning help, I recommend that you watch this video to learn more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.